Let's go. Let's go. Higher and higher. You then feel me with holy fire. Everybody sing along. Higher.
Hello and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. How are you doing? And happy new month. I mean, we are in April already. It's the second quarter of 2025 and this year is just flying. I hope you are soaring also. All right, so it's going to be another interesting episode and we are looking forward to everything we're going to discuss today on the show. My name is Anete Bature. I'm a relationship coach, author of Husband Material, the book and the workbook. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm an engineer, wife of one man, husband of a number of children. Okay, yes, this is going to be interesting and I'm not alone on the show today. I have my husband and co-host with me, Kingsley Bature.
Hello, everyone. I am your boy, your guy. I'm in the showbiz mood. Do you understand? As a celeb consultant. Do you understand? Don't be looking at me less. They're looking for me everywhere. Do you understand? So don't be looking at me.
It's a four-time appearance.
Yeah. They call celebrated TV consultant on relationship matters. Yeah, so you guys just don't worry. I'm not actually blowing my own trumpet. It's just whistle that I'm blowing now. You understand? So, but I need you guys to listen and let's go for this ride. This particular one is an interesting ride, right? Because this one I will enjoy. Oh, I didn't mention my name. Oh, by the way, my name is Kingsley Bature, the husband of that wife that introduced the show. And I am a businessman with how do you put that in serial entrepreneur. My brother, if you get a business idea, just come. Let's go into partnership. You understand? That's the kind of businessman I am. And then I'm also a relationship coach, a licensed family life professional. I'm also a member of the American Family Life Coaching Association. Do you understand? So I am authorized. Do you understand? I didn't come to play. I'm authorized to do what I'm doing, and I'm doing it with as a professional. So even though I'm talking to you people here for free, if you enter my office, you go pay. You understand? So whatever I'm saying, take it seriously. Do you understand? So that's my own intro. Did I try?
You tried. Fantastic. And on the show with us today, we have two wonderful people and they will introduce themselves.
Okay. My name is Kingsley KJ Toby, a proud single man. For now. Why are you looking at me like that?
Somebody was good. That's why she's looking at you. She was going to answer you.
Yeah.
Continue.
I'm a proud single man, a father of none, a husband to none.
First of his name.
First of my name, yes. I'm also I'm an HR consultant. What else? Creative director. I'm also an entrepreneur. And what else? That's pretty much it for me.
Okay,
the ladies looking at me smiling.
So I was just wondering why you just jumped. Like when they were like, why didn't you wait for me? Have you not heard about ladies first?
Oh, hey, Yoma, is that how you're starting this episode?
Yeah, going.
I see why I'm still single.
My name is Yoma. I'm an interior designer. I think my introduction is just going to be short.
That's all. All right. Okay, I get it.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. And KJ, sorry, don't worry, you get there.
I'll get it right. I mean, I'm open to learning.
Okay, all right. So a lot is going to be dealt with today, and I'm particularly interested in today's topic because it really affects everybody, both pre, relationship, during relationship, post relationship, as in single, married, this applies to you. So please don't go away. Don't say, oh, yeah, they're talking to singles once again. No, this one affects you. And we are starting a new series, which is it's titled Choosing Right, right? But it's also about dealing with emotional pressures that life throws at you. So get ready if you are in that space where you know, yes, I've been dealing with a lot, or I want to prepare myself to deal with whatever may come. This is the right show for you. So don't go away. And please call your friends, your loved ones, your siblings, other people that you know need this message. Please call them so they can join. Send the link. So this is when you should share the link. And as we go through, you hear something good. You will hear something good at many points. Like. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I invite you to do so. And I would like to welcome everyone who is here already. I can see that Debbie joined us. Debbie, thank you so much for always being early on time. Thank you. She was there from the very beginning. In fact, before the beginning of the show. Dara Benny, we see you also. She says, good evening. Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for joining the show. Happy New Month, everyone. Yes, exactly. Debbie says, what's that? Happy birthday month. Oh, really? Debbie, this is your birth
We
month.
must celebrate you on the show. We must celebrate you. Maybe,
Let's know. We have to know that date and make sure we
that day
shout out. We cannot miss it.
We can't miss it.
Yes, Dara Benny. Jennifer, I see you. Jennifer. Jennifer says our guy. Yes, our guy indeed. When you say it's your guy, I'm like, oh, really? Suppose it's your boy and all of that. Yeah. So Jennifer, thanks for being here today, and everyone else. I think I can see Martins. Martins has joined. Proud single man. Okay, yes, KJ and his drama. He came ready today to make us laugh. Okay, and then I also see Chidozie Martins is there at KJ. What's going on? KJ, are you already dragging somebody? KJ and
KJ,
Pride.
they're already dragging
Nah,
you, and the
5
show
and
just
6.
started.
Wow, this is serious. Okay. Okay, all right. So let's jump in. Our topic for today, if you are wondering, stress tests, right? Can your partner handle the pressure? Oh, yes. I know you have some deep thoughts on this. Would you like to share?
When you just say deep thoughts now,
It's
just,
true now.
They're setting me up.
It's very deep.
Okay, well, let me now try to be deep now, because you have put me under pressure.
Ah.
That's why they say, can your partner handle the pressure? Because the relationship itself will put you under pressure. Just entering. So a lot of people think that relationship. I've spoken to a number of young men, and when you talk to young man, one or two, before you don't even go far in the conversation, they will tell you, it's just that I don't have money. If I have money now, all these things we sorted. So there's that ideology, that maybe it's cultural, I don't know, that it feels like if guys, speaking for a guy now, if guys have money, everything about relationship is sorted. So if I just have money, I'm all right. But there's a lot of things that don't need money in order for the relationship to work, and those are some of the things that we want to look at, even in this Choosing Right series.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm thinking, money aside, what are the things I need to look out for in a partner in order to be able to find a relationship, a long-lasting relationship, or a sustainable
Okay, welcome back. Sorry about that glitch. But yes, we're still here. So I was saying, back in the day, you would say depression is not an African thing. Nigerians don't know anything about suicide and stuff like that. But more and more, you're beginning to hear about mental health, depression, anxiety, and people experiencing in their lives. So it has become important for you to actually check this person that I'm going into a relationship with, or this person that I am married to, what's their anchor, what's their fallback, what is their coping mechanism, how do they deal with issues, how do they respond when life throws them. If I want to uh, tee off a series we recently watched, out say, how do you respond when life gives you tangerines?
When life gives you tangerine,
Yeah.
that series, it's a bit of a tearjerker, but it's so relatable and is loaded with realism. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's a series I think anybody should watch,
Yeah.
because it spans a 70-year love relationship. You know, going through the hurdles, the challenges, the ups and the downs, literally, and there are many, many curveballs
Yeah.
that life throws about you that you don't plan.
Yeah.
And so, because every relationship is really going to go through those things, it means that if I'm planning a relationship for the long term, right, I have to factor this in my decision,
Yeah.
right? So, we are talking as married people. I believe KJ and Yoma have an angle on this. Do you understand?
Yes.
And I would like them to bring those into perspective.
Yeah. So KJ and Yoma, just before you do that,
Before they do that, really, like this series, if you don't plan to get married, you can change channel. Now, you can change channel. But if you plan that somewhere in the midst of your life journey, you are planning to get married, then this is one series you need to listen to this. You need to listen to this.
yeah.
Over to you.
Okay. So I think something that would be good to just share from the onset is stress. What stress is, or what stressors are, right? And these are stress is your body's natural response to any demand or challenge, right? Sometimes people say, oh, you need good stress. Sometimes good stress, just the right dose can motivate you to be more productive, more efficient, and so on. But in the wrong quantity, it can be damaging. And you can experience it physical, emotional, mental, and so on. But oftentimes you know that you're stressed when you're feeling overwhelmed and when you are finding it difficult to cope with the situation. So KJ and Yoma, please, I'd like you to let's start from the angle of the singles. What are the common stressors that you guys experience as singles in relationships and so on? Yep. So over to you guys.
So now I want to be a gentleman.
When it comes to the hard work, suddenly you are a gentleman.
Yoma, what do you want to take?
I'll say that you said, what are the common stressors that we have, right, in relationships?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say that for relationship is just life. I think that in our generation, work seems to take a lot of our time, right? Trying to make it living, trying to get things financially, and trying to build a career can be very demanding. So I'll say for most people now, I feel like relationships kind of now take the back line.
The back seat.
People have this drama of not really being sure if they are giving themselves like enough time. So you're dating someone, you hardly see the person, even though you're in the same city. Or in those cases where there's long distance, it's usually really tough because the person is always working. And then sometimes it feels like, oh, do you really love me? Do you really care about me? Because it feels like I'm just taking the back seats, and having to deal with all that drama, trying to be sure that this person is actually just as busy as they say that they are, and it's not like you are not priority or like you're not important. I think that that's one situation that we're really dealing with, right? There are a lot of people who have had to lose relationships because of that. It's not like there was anything wrong with them. It's not like they were not compatible. It's not like things were not working well, but finding that time to spend to build the relationship is a problem. Also thinking about some of the things that we've said on this show, right? So when you're in a show, I love when you said you should take money out, because sometimes it's a problem. We've seen, like, when we hear people talk about oh, I'm not going to spend money on that girl. I don't know if you can remember that time that somebody was saying, so I'm not going to beg the girl, and then I'm going to. So it's like work has taken so much out of us that we're not able to give ourselves to love. I think that.
So this is me asking now. I'm saying valid point you're making here, but the question I'm asking to myself isn't the ability to balance work and life part of emotional maturity?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for me, I think I'm this one. I've been guilty in the past, right? First few years of my life after school, after university, I was just trying to build my career, make money, build my brand. I barely had time for love. I was just so busy, and it wasn't intentional. It's not like I said, I'm not going to. So I would have someone that likes me. There's nothing wrong with this person. I'm just so busy. So I remember once there was this guy that was asking me out. So I was with my client, right? And then the guy calls me up on the phone, and I'm like, "Oh, can I call you back?" And the guy's like, "No, man, I don't care. I'm not calling you back because you keep doing this." But I can now reckon that there were other people in that season of my life, right, who were not that persistent, and maybe that's why I'm still single.
Oh my goodness, that's interesting.
What do I have to say?
Yeah, so I'm learning. So in response, sorry, I'm now learning the balance. I'm learning the balance. I wish I had learned it, or I wish I was intentional, because I don't think that people even know. I don't think that they're aware. So I wish I was more aware that, hey, I know that you need to work hard, you need to build a brand, you need to do whatever it is, but you also need love. So
you also need love.
Yeah, that's true.
You also need love.
For me, I feel like, first of all, being a Nigerian already gives you all the stress that's yes. But how well you handle it, especially when you're in a relationship, tells a lot about you. So for one, I've been a victim. Yes.
A victim.
Yes, I've been a victim. I mean, I've dated a girl who almost slapped me.
Wow.
Out of stress. Yes.
What kind of stress?
I don't know if mental stress. So I've dated a girl who almost slapped me.
Sorry, do you have an idea what she was going through?
She wasn't going through anything. I don't think she was going through anything.
There's no stress now. That one has anger issues, probably.
Anyway, she couldn't manage her emotions.
Yes, so it's part of it's part of
She
emotional
wasn't able
stress.
to manage her emotions, so she raised her hand and almost did the boa on my face. And I'm just sitting there and just chilling and looking at her. And on the other hand as well, I myself have my own way of responding to stress that I did not know affected my partner. As far as I was concerned, I thought I was protecting them. So for me personally, when I'm stressed, when I am quote and unquote having emotional meltdown, I just seclude myself. I go to a place and just be by myself. And that has cost me a good relationship, because at that period I just wanted to be alone, and I did not communicate to the partner that, listen, I want to be alone. I don't want disturbance. So I just took to myself. And of course it brought a whole lot of problem, kinika and all of that. And me, I'm like, why are you stressing? I'm trying to save you from my whole world of turbulence and all of that. Just take it that I'm trying to save you from all of that stress, and don't stress me. Don't come in. And of course she went. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I still have that problem. I'm not saying I have solved it. I still have that problem where when I am faced with certain challenges or certain degree of problems, I just want to be by myself.
Like withdraw into
my shell. And I think it's a thing with not every man anyway. Most guys, okay? And let's not lie. So I just like being by myself. But the thing now, I don't know if this is wrong. I usually expect the lady to just understand that, well, he's going through something. Let me just let him be. Okay. When he's done, he will come meet me.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like
Unfortunately, it
that.
doesn't work that way, all right? so,
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question. I'm so sorry.
shoot, please.
How do you feel if rather than withdraw to your shell, you're actually having someone that you can share that time?
The time with.
Yes, so that's challenging season.
Yeah.
Instead of dealing with it, like so you're going to your shell, and then when you feel better, you're coming back, and then you're having that kind of relationship. So how would you? So two things. How would you feel if instead of doing that, you can actually talk to the person and say, "Hey, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling."
Yeah.
And you guys can go through it together. How would you feel? And then second question, how authentic do you think that connection is if you have to deal with stuff by yourself? Is that really authentic? Is that relationship?
So, actually, I know ideally I'm supposed to share my problems and issues with my partner, right? But I don't know if I've gotten to that level of vulnerability to do it. Now, I have someone I can talk to. I have a friend that, yes. Why are you giving that? I have a friend that I can talk to when I'm in that state. And the reason I feel comfortable talking to him is because I know that if I talk to him about it, he has experienced something like that before, or he just knows the right answer to give to me, and I am in a way safe with him. But for me to get to that level of vulnerability with my woman is something I am trying to get to.
But how do you think you feel if you have someone?
If she's matured enough to understand, that's why I usually say she should understand me. If she understands me well enough and she's matured enough to handle certain things like that, it will be ideal. I'd love it. Matter of fact, she will be like my go-to person whenever. But unfortunately, I don't think I've had that. I don't think I've ever had that before.
Okay.
I had this guy that we I was such a successful guy. He would literally call me from the office, like something that well, and he'll call me, like he'll find a corner and just call me, look at this, look at what's going on, and all of that. Like, it was so bad that when we broke up, it was really hard, like having to like get him to understand that, bro, we're not dating anymore. You cannot be calling me.
Yeah.
But I love that, right? And because I love that, I realized that should be the goal.
It would be nice to have that, but it's not every. Trust me, not everybody, not every lady can handle all of that.
So why would you want to be with someone that you cannot?
Why would I want to be?
I'm just so confused, right? So I'm trying to put perspective, like, bring this thing to life, because I feel like when it comes to love, it's either it is working
or it's not.
So if from the beginning you cannot even talk to the person, I'm thinking that maybe you should not be dating that person. I'm not saying you shouldn't be with that person. I'm saying maybe you should still be friends and try to build that friendship to that stage where when you're going through something, you're thinking, oh, I cannot wait to share this with this person.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of calling somebody else, because your woman, like you say, should be your best friend, right?
Yeah. All right. And I think that's a good place for us to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Okay, and we're back. So we've had a number of things that singles go through. This whole issue of always working, not having time enough to spend with the people they are in relationships with, leading to people feeling they are not loved or questioning if they are loved. And we've also seen the part of singles just wanting to be left alone, right? And that just a number of those issues fall right under communication. When you look at some of the common sources of stress in relationships, both as singles and married people, you find that communication is one key one. And that's where you see a breakdown in communication. So with couples, a lot of times it's misunderstandings. And yes, sometimes couples complain about how much time we're spending together. You're always working, or maybe you're so career driven, you're neglecting the family and stuff like that. So you see it playing out also even with the singles. But there are a few others that I would like to read through before we continue with the rest of the discussion.
Carry go.
All right. So one of them is financial stress. And, you said put money aside, right? But yeah, finance is one of the key ones. In fact, it's so obvious that a lot of people think that's the only problem that people have in marriage and relationships.
The interesting thing about these things you're planning to read out is that all of them are individual stressors that weigh on emotional stresses. You understand? So they are stressors, but they cause emotional stress.
Yeah.
So it means that as when you listen to these stressors, you may say, "Oh, but we said put money aside." No, we are saying in this particular case, financial stress, the finance is a stressor that is causing an emotional stress that whoever you are dealing with must have, whoever your partner is going to be, must have the capacity to handle this stress. And even when we share from our life, you find out that some of the emotional stresses that we have had to deal with have been caused by different stressors, and that's what trying to point out.
And really, I think a good thing to do as I'm going through this list, just check and see, is there any of this that I feel applies to me right now, or that I think I have been through before? And then you can start thinking about how you handled it back then. Okay, so financial stress, communication breakdown, we talked about that. Intimacy issues. Okay, and this is where you are seeing the mismatch in things like sexual desire or preferences and stuff like that. Yes, man, come on, I'm trying to keep it very nice and
PG rated.
lack of emotional connections, unresolved trauma.
Attraction.
Okay, all right. So I'll go to the next one, which Yoma mentioned earlier, which is work-life balance, right? So the demanding jobs, the long hours, and so on. Then raising children. Someone would say, how can raising children be a problem? Aren't we all looking forward to having children when we get married and so on? But actually, raising children can be a major contributor to stress if you don't know how to handle it. Where you see differences in parenting styles and so on. You see how one parent wants to approach an issue, things like discipline and so on. How do you deal with it when there's that disparity? Another one is extended family interference. I mean, in Nigeria, we just say the in-laws. Once you say the in-laws, everybody knows what you're talking about.
So this one should be called in-law stress.
Well, yeah, you can do you can do that. Yeah. So you have the extended family or the in-laws coming in. Are we creating the right boundaries? Who is talking to who? Who is treating who in what way? Are you forcing your family's method of doing things on your spouse and stuff like that? And then, of course, there's the unrealistic expectations, which just comes from things that probably were not discussed and aligned on. And this is something that the singles really need to pay attention to, because sometimes you're just so focused on, I love him, his eyes are so cute. When he blinks, I feel butterflies in my tummy.
When he speaks, his voice has baritone.
I can see you're really trying to and stuff like that. And you're not paying attention to things like, what do I really expect from you in this relationship? And let's talk about it. Do I expect you to show up for me? Do I expect you to be there for me? Do I expect you to handle certain issues? How will we work this thing together? A number of those things are not discussed, and then you get into marriage and people say, no, you're not meeting my needs. You're not doing what I want. Your mates are start coming up and stuff like that. So yes, unrealistic expectations, and in some cases it's not that they're not realistic, it's just that they were not communicated.
Uncommunicated expectations.
Yes.
Those ones too.
Yeah, lack of quality time, health challenges. This one is major, because a lot of times when you're setting out in relationships, everybody's young, everybody is, agile and, strong, and it feels like, in fact, for the rest of your lives you're going to be like this. But then life happens, and sometimes people have health challenges. So what do you do in such situations? If I can throw this in here, you read about Job in the Bible, who had that health challenge. And then what happened? His health challenge got so severe to the point that his wife, who couldn't handle the pressure, told him, curse God and die. I mean, so you have to think, what kind of person am I going to get married to? Or what kind of person am I married to? Is this the person who, when it is that difficult or that crucial or that critical, the person will be recommending things that can forever derail your destiny?
Yeah.
Do you understand? I mean, let's just put it simply like that. And then there's issues of infidelity and trust. Of course, this comes up a lot in marriage, but even as singles, building trust and then someone saying, you broke my trust, you did this, you did that. Personal growth differences. Because one person is expecting, I want to do this. Maybe, for instance, I want us to focus on building this and setting up that in this time of our marriage, and the other person is saying, I want to focus on having children. One person wants to become,
and they're both good things.
yes, great things, but just the timing, and if you don't discuss it and align, it can bring about stress. Somebody saying, it's that time of the month, it's now, the window is now, we need to do this if we are planning to have children, and the guy is like, the business deal is now.
Yes,
I have to, in fact, it's not even I will come back home late, I need to travel. Oh Lord, okay. And then, of course, spiritual disconnection. So those are just a few things that can
stress us.
Yes, can bring about stress in relationships. So now the question is, when stress comes in, when these things happen, how is your partner, or how will your partner deal with it? Because if you are not yet married to the person, you're thinking of the future, how will they deal with this when it comes? And sometimes even in your relationship before you get married, you see some indicators. How will they deal with it when it comes? Will they run to alcohol? Will they run to drugs and substance abuse? Will they shrink into a shell and tell you, I'm dealing with it all by myself?
Avoidance.
Don't worry, I got this. I'll call you when I'm done dealing with it. What is that?
Shrinking into a shell is one. The other one is just avoid it. Avoid the discussion. Every time you raise the discussion, the person can just flare up.
Yes, there's that.
Or shut down.
Yes.
Do you understand? When I flare up like this, they say, for sake of national peace, I beg, let's just leave it. What it means is the discussion is not hard. And then the miscommunications, like you said, become an additional stressor to an already existing stress. So how do you deal with it is one question. My own other question, and this is to the single guys, I'm putting you for fire today, is how can you tell?
Can you tell what?
How can you tell that this person will be able to handle challenges? How can you, before they are married, before they are hitched, how can you tell that someone can?
Do you want them to take a stab at it first?
Yes, I want them to try.
Then let's see.
Because ordinarily they should be asking me this question.
Yeah, but now you're putting them.
Is first.
Sorry, sorry, KJ and Yoma. Let's see.
KJ,
I'm being a gentleman.
You are doing ladies first again.
Okay, but seriously, like, I think that these things, when we talk about relationships, the advantage of not being married is that you can really just be a friend. It allows you the liberty to like really study the person. So I've lost a friendship because of lack of communication, right? So I noticed certain things at the very beginning of the friendship, and I tried to talk to the person about them, but like you said, avoidance. So I noticed that the person was very avoidant. So out of fear, I would not bring those things up anymore, but they were piling up because it's not like the person had changed or anything. And it wasn't. So the thing is, people think that communication is about correction. Like, I need you to stop doing this, or I need you to do that.
Mm.
But it's really about communication. It's really about expressing yourself. So if I say to you, why haven't you visited me? It's like 2 months. You've not come to my house. What kind of person are you? And then you say to me, oh, that's not really how I am. I'm the kind of person that I can call you on the phone. I can really show up for you. I can go out with you, but I might not visit you. Like, and I can look at it and it can make sense to me, and I'm cool. And we move on.
Mhm.
You get?
Yeah.
So the next time you don't visit me, I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. This is what he does, and I'm really okay with it, right? But if there's no communication, and I really don't understand why that thing is happening, what will happen is that there will be a build up, and after a while, I would, crash, right? So I would say that from that experience, I started to learn that one way I can tell is communication.
Great.
My ability to express myself to the person and make progress, and their ability to do the same with me, right, makes me feel safe that, okay, because we cannot predict the future. But if we're able to have a kind of synchrony as regards to how we express ourselves to each other and how we're able to meet ourselves, I think that's like a green flag.
Okay. So for me, I would say communication, yes. Friendship, very importantly. But when we talk about friendship, the part I would like to come from is being in the person's space as much as possible. By being in the person's space, we are in a social media era where everybody just feel like they are one click away from their friend. Hey, what's up, and all of that. I don't think you get to know this person that well. I remember in the Mr. Kingsley, I remember in those days when there was no phone. One of the ways you build friendship is you tend to spend a lot of time with this person. You go meet the person, you guys talk, that's how the friendship gets solidified, okay, over time. Now what that helps is that with time you get to see this person in different situations and how the person reacts to different things. I've had somebody do something that I did not like, because we don't often see each other. We were thinking of going into a relationship. She intentionally pushed me to the wall just to see my response. So the truth of the matter is that I didn't know she was doing it intentionally until the point I kept quiet because I was giving it to her back. At some point I'm like, wait, no.
What's going
on? So I had to keep my mouth shut. I was like, so you're not going to talk to me. Say something. I'm like, oh, so you're really doing this to get. I kept quiet. You won't get anything. You won't get what you want from that. So me personally, I would say spend a lot. We don't see the way life is going right now. Everybody's just busy.
Everybody's
Fast lane.
Everybody's busy.
So in summary, KJ, what you're saying is we really need to
spend time
and
together.
that will to some extent help you to tell
Exactly
how the person would respond.
Yes.
So monitor, pay attention, see how they react to even the little pressures that they're experiencing now, and then that would give you some indication of how things will be in the future. Okay, so we're going to take some of the comments now, and then right after that we're bringing on another
surprise guest.
Yes, to tackle some of these things from the married people's perspective. Yes, so we'll go through the comments now. Okay, so let's see. We have a couple of comments that have come in, and we're going through them now. Yes, let's see. Okay, so Henry, hello, welcome, Henry. We see you. Henry says, "Like he doesn't want to say anything. He wants to think first."
He's saying ladies first.
That when he says emotional maturity is being able to manage life, work, and relationships and family.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Dad. Thanks for that.
Chidesu says, "Do you mean KJ is buying time?" Exactly what the guy meant.
Okay, so let's see. Next, Henry says, "I've been there with the lioness. The lioness do the huntings while the lions protect the pride. That is why that's what my guy is doing." Okay, and so on and so forth. Let's see. Jennifer has a comment down there. Jennifer says,
No. It was you missed Chidesu's comment.
Okay.
Chidesu said, "Please, He says, KJ, please don't get too emotional today. Oh. This one you are talking about emotions. That's when Jennifer now responded and said, please, allow him. Queen Debbie says, Achidoze Martins, make I bring box of tissues, right?
Just in case anybody starts
Just in case
crying.
anybody starts crying,
Yeah.
you know, when they get emotional.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Henry says, hey, yeah, she later slap you. Jennifer said, Chidoze, please allow KJ to be emotional. It's fully allowed. Healing starts from there for better communication. Aww. KJ, you are getting some people, some fans are they are rooting for you. KJ, it's like you soon marry because it's like ladies like this emotional side of you, not the basketball side. Do you understand?
Yeah, and then let's see who's that. Gist proper. There's a comment there from Gist proper. But you two look.
But you two look good together. Just saying. You know. There was the comment about KJ and Yoma, and he's just saying. Then Martin said what? Martin said, he says, Gist proper. Are you a prophet? Are you a prophet? Please, Papa, prophesy. If you are saying something, just
say it well.
Say it well.
With your full chest.
Queen Debbie says, Martin, maybe he is. Maybe he is.
Okay. All right. So yes, it's that time, and our special guest is here on the show with us, and we would like to introduce Mr. Uche Innocent.
Hello, yay. glad
Hello,
to have
good evening,
you.
everyone.
Just give them your small intro.
Yeah, starting with you're a married man.
What's the ring though?
Good evening, my ring is here. Actually.
Uh-huh.
I wear it close to my heart, the left side, so that as it beats, every
Please
other
be
thing
wearing
beats
this
along
ring
with
well,
it.
please.
Were you
On
thinking
behalf
I was
of all
single?
the single
ladies.
Because we've been going through a lot.
Please.
The rings.
Trust me, you won't spend more than 2 minutes with me.
No, we
before
don't
I
have to
announce
spend
my
many
marriage.
minutes. What's you from far?
From far, I just avoid you.
All right, good evening,
my
everyone.
goodness,
So
that's
my name is
interesting.
Uche, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. A husband of one, father of some children, and yeah. So that's that. Thank you. And okay,
Yeah. So Uche, you've been married for how many years now? 4, 5?
this month will be 4 years.
4 years.
Woohoo!
So you're still within the 0 to 5. So,
Yes.
So we can tell the young people like, okay, this guy is 0 to 5. He's newly married. He understands some pressures that come with moving from single to married.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You understand some pressures are coming from moving from single to married.
Yeah.
And Uche, I would like you to share from
Experience.
from that perspective, as a man like this. That's why we bounce KJ, as a single man. Now as a married man, in this second half. What are some of those pressures that
You have dealt with.
that you have had to deal with as a married man that you are now, and flashback, from did you expect it as a single man, and how did you prepare for it into handling it as a married man?
Okay, so basically, I think I'd like to start with a short story.
Okay.
Shortly before we got married, I think about 3 months or so, or 2 months thereabouts. It's not like I'm not one of those guys that's had a stash of cash somewhere before venturing into the wedding and then
So that
marriage.
means you're married as a promising young man.
Yes, I'm married as a promising young man, and even the journey of the leading up to the wedding itself was a journey of faith. So it was on one of those days that the pressure came. There was some bills that needed to be paid, and somehow I had to speak to my then fiancée, my wife, and I told her, babe, I'm just for the first time I'm beginning to feel scared. And her response was, babe, you shouldn't have told me that. Like, why? She said that my faith is the only thing that had been carrying her all along.
Emotional damage.
Emotionally, that she doesn't even, that for the first time she too is becoming scared because that she didn't know where I was getting my push, my zeal, my,
the drive.
everything. So that kind of told me that made me understand that when I'm going through stress, depending on what the stress is, I might not necessarily need to tell her as it is. So because that could actually make her break down and all of that. And something cages that you guys, when you were talking, basically I think it was communication issues. And there's this saying, I can't remember where I heard it from, that unspoken expectations are actually recipes for resentment. You need to speak about it. When you don't communicate your expectations, you're setting your partner up for resentment and setting up the relationship for failure even before it begins. And
is KJ hearing? Is KJ hearing?
I believe he is. So, but getting into the marriage proper now, I think still part of the early, when I say early, I think God came through for us very early. He knew that we had seen Shege Banza from before the wedding. But the first few months of the marriage, we literally got married in April. And my wife had to travel down to Lagos. Yeah, we weren't in Lagos when we got married. She had to travel down to Lagos to come resume a new job. And I just resigned from my own job. So I had between April and March and August to move to Lagos. So you can imagine, and not like the job I was doing there was one of those big jobs and all of that. So financially, we felt pressured on every side. But one thing that kept us going is the fact that we talked a lot during our when we were courting. We talked about everything, like
from sense to nonsense.
Everything. In fact, one of the things I can speak, right?
Yes.
So one of the things we talked about, and I had to take a break from. I told her, okay, I would have to. I asked her, I was like, it has to do with sex. Like, are there limitations to our sex life? Are there things we can't do? Are there things? And my wife wasn't really sexually exposed, so perhaps I had more of the experience, and I knew what I was asking and all of that. So I had to speak to one of our mentors, and I went to him, a pastor, and I asked him, what are the boundaries regarding sex in marriage? And he told me that the key word is convenience. Whatever it is, if you want to jump from the cliff,
hang on the fan,
anything you want to, but as long as it's convenient for you and your partner, then it's nobody's business, and there's no sin in it. And so we talked about parenting, talked about in-laws, how early should they be allowed to visit my mom, her mom, and everything. We left literally 4 years down the line. I realized there was nothing we didn't talk about. So that kind of helped me understand how my wife would prefer you slap her to shouting at her. And of course, I would never raise my hand at her. So one of the things I had to learn was, even when she's the one provoking me, even when she's the one at fault, I'm pressured, right, to release my emotional outburst. But if I did that at any point in time, I would have to use years to apologize for it. So that kind of made me realize, okay, no matter what the pressure is, I can't raise my voice at her. And with women too, when you say you're raising, sometimes they say you're raising your voice and you can't even hear the voice you're raising.
You don't even know.
Yes. So all of those things. So in order to, like, when you get to the pressure, if you didn't get to talk about it, or let me say, if you don't get to talk about it when you're still dating, the series is choosing right?
Yes.
If you didn't get to talk about them, then as some of these pressures come up in the marriage, deal with them immediately. Deal with them. I heard you talk about the avoidance, the confrontational, the anger, all of them and all of that. So I happen to be the confrontational type. Till next year I'm confrontational, and that's because I don't have energy to stop things. As it happen, I did tell you. And my wife happens to be the avoidance type. Wow. So we would have issues, and the normal me, I'll be waiting for us to maybe talk about it before we go to bed, because we had that agreement too that we wouldn't leave any issue unresolved and go to bed. You understand? So initially I was like, this woman no go talk about this thing. When she talk about it, are we about? And she'll tell me, babe, I've dealt with it in my head. Let's move on. Yes.
You are looking for the confrontation.
4 years down the line, I still don't understand how you can deal with issues in your mind and you've moved on, as she claims she does. It's still a claim because I don't understand it yet. But luckily, we really don't even have much of the issues like that because, again, we talked. When I say we talk, I can't really put it into words. We really talked. We spent our courtship period talking.
What to do with your mouth?
Yes. And, that's where I'll bring in a little bit. Mr. Batures just said something. What you did with your mouth. During your courtship, for the single ones, please choose to do the better thing with your mouth.
Not just kiss.
Don't exactly talk.
Up and down.
Why you
Talk
don't
about
say it's
everything.
periwinkle, you're trying-
So basically, that's that. Which other pressure has come up? I don't think sexually we had any pressure. We talked about things.
Everything.
My expectations in that regard, what she
High
felt was
expectations.
sorry,
How about high expectations?
things she felt could be. Experientially, she didn't have much of it. Like she could only. So since some of the things she felt she would not be comfortable doing, we talked about them. She said she was
How
not
about the
sexually.
things that she wanted? Because as much as she wasn't experienced.
So
Hey,
ask specific
brain.
questions now. Let me.
So like, what does she want? Like, what are her?
One of the reasons
So as much as you
we
might not have
preach,
experiences,
like
there
I
are
said,
certain
I'm
things
being
you want.
vulnerable here. As much as I didn't get married a virgin, but I've come to realize that it's true, and we would keep telling people: try not to have sex before. Try to keep yourself as much as you can. If you're not sexually active, the truth is you won't even, your definition of sexual pleasure and all of those things becomes what you find in the marriage, whether as the guy or as the woman. But when you've gone to test the ruggedity of an acquired
You've gone to test
the
longevity,
lying tongues of the Yoruba demons, you've gone to test the different strokes and all of that, and you're
Size
coming
and
to expect all of those. No, it's actually not a joke now. You understand?
Exactly.
You come now, you want to get the stroking of Femi, the kissing of Taiwo.
Are we really going back?
Now you ask now.
You asked the
you
question
ask.
now.
You went there,
When
so
you
I'm
were
actually
asking the
giving it to
question,
you
what
now.
were you
That
expecting?
wasn't my
No,
question.
I'm going to.
He's
I'm
going there.
setting the
He's
premise
setting
to
the
answer
stage.
you. You understand?
Now you ask questions.
So you asked
answer.
what about her own expectations, and I told you that she could only imagine the things she may want and may not want.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big. She didn't ask for anything that I wasn't gladly going to give anyway.
That's
So that's why I said on that
was
side,
all I asked.
on that side there was no. It's
But finish.
finish.
We were getting to Kayode and
Yes, no, I finished. I think they got the point already. You understand? And which other aspects now emotionally? So my wife thinks or believes, and I've come to agree with her. She actually believes I am extremely expressive, and I agree. You understand? Because she's the type that maybe if she's really feeling emotionally down or something, well, the irony of it all is she may not talk about it immediately, but you might have to ask, "Are you okay?" Like 1,000,000 times. You might have to ask,
you watching this
"Babe,
thing?
what's going on?" like 1,000 times. She really, it's not because she doesn't want to talk about them, but initially she used to feel like I can deal with it. But when she got to realize that perhaps the man she dated is not really different from the man she has gotten married to, she realized that, okay, I can be vulnerable from the very beginning. No judgment in this marriage and all of that. So basically we get to go through whatever pressure. And even recently, I think I was sharing with the Batures earlier today, and financial pressure would actually come. Some people think once you stabilize a marriage, there won't be that financial pressure anymore. So you can marry a guy or a man that is making, say, 12 million monthly, and the lady too is making like 13 million monthly. Let me not put it before the feminists to come to me. Why should the guy, even though in your example, why would the guy make more? So the truth is, maybe in the course of carrying out some of your family projects and all of that, some things can happen and you would find yourself scrabbling for even the least 1,000 naira in your family. But because, one of my mentors, Pastor ID, he said something when a question came up on this issue of finances. He said, the reason why your wife would pounce at you when you make some financial errors, or the reason why she might not, both of you might not trust yourself financially, is because they don't trust your motive. If over time your wife has come to realize that you would always put your family first, even when you mismanage money, they know it's not intentional, that it's just something that could have happened even if you were to be alone. So all of these pressures, talk about them, and as they arise, maybe the ones that have not been spoken about, please don't leave it on don't let it turn to resentment. because that's the foundation for. I think I'll stop there. In case.
Interesting.
Man, this is Yoma, I'm sure you got full value
For the question that she asked.
that you asked.
Bro, that question I got more than the other.
That's what we do for a living.
I've learned so much from just this short time, right? I think it's really nice to hear from experience, like, because I feel like there's so much that we say as single people that's just it's not realistic. Do you understand? So hearing you speak, I love how realistic you've been. I love how vulnerable. And I'm happy that KJ can hear you.
You really need him to learn.
Future, yeah, he needs to learn.
You really need him to learn.
You can't afford to have stresses and stress us.
Right.
Why is KJ everybody's punching back? I don't understand.
Sorry, KJ. In fact, somebody has said hashtag
justice
for KJ in the comments.
In the comments.
I'm not persecuting KJ. KJ, but do you have any questions for? We'll be glad to answer.
KJ, put it in the comments if you have any question. Okay, so let's see some of the comments that have come in before we tie this up. And thank you so much, Uche, for sharing so deeply. So Chidozie says, yes, Chidozie says justice for KJ. And then Queen Debbie says, are you jealous? Make you marry first now.
Oh.
Hey, wow.
Somebody is finally taking on Martins. He was running his mouth in the comment, but somebody has come for him.
And then Martin says, Debbie, am I single?
Are you not?
Oh my goodness. This is very soon now. See, am I a spoon?
They say, please, Mr. KJ, come back.
Come back.
It's like you need to defend yourself on this set.
Okay, and then Martin says, you sound single.
No, Queen Debbie said, Martins, you sound very single. You sound single.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so
Queen Debbie, just in case you are interested, I can confirm to you that he is single. We are still on his case. His file is still on our table, so he's still very single.
Okay, this last
and that's for Queen Debbie and all the other sisters that may be wondering. Yes, his file.
that's
go ahead.
All right. So one of the pressures she mentioned, and I'll just put it the Nigerian way, in-laws. Again, please. In fact, my God answers prayers, actually. I think that is one of the things I was actually scared of. Of every other, I knew I can be a bit assertive when it comes, especially when it comes to my family. I'll defend my family with everything I've got. You understand? But God so blessed me with a mother that is understanding, as good as a mother-in-law, that these two people, I think the only problem they've ever had is that there was too much of they know how to mind their businesses.
Oh.
But that's not where I'm going to. If you ever have in-laws that don't know where to draw the line, I'm going to speak specifically to whoever the in-law is coming from. So if it's the wife's parents or the wife's mother or siblings that do not realize that their daughter is now married, please, the lady, it is in your place to draw the line for them. Don't set your husband up by expecting that he would have to come and tell your brother, oh, you can't put your leg on the table from morning till evening when you visit, even when there are visitors and all of those things that can happen. If it's coming from your own side as the guy, please don't leave your wife. In fact, it's even worse. You must not let your wife handle that. So any form of pressure from in-laws, if now your mama, handle your mama. If now your papa, handle your papa. And please be stern. You know, there's a way you can actually be serious, like as if you're almost, depending on the severity of what they are bringing your way. Please, let's draw the line and let the boundary line be extremely clear, so that nobody misunderstands. They will fight you initially, but it's emotional blackmail. Later, they will realize that you are out to defend even their own children that they've entrusted into your care. I thought to mention that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for mentioning
and
that.
you know, what Uche has said is very key. And this, of course, we know they are the conventional mommy's boy syndrome that goes for most guys, where you hear things like, she's my mother, you can't talk to her that way. When that line has been crossed between mother and wife, right? But it's the job of the husband to defend the wife and draw the line and ensure that that boundary line is kept defended, so that your mother as a man doesn't even need to cross that line and come and meet your wife.
So there's no occasion.
There's no occasion for them to cross the line and meet your wife, where your wife now has to defend herself. That's part of balancing, being the emotional balance. For example, as a single man, before you guys get married, ladies, you two, you have to check: is he a conventional mommy's boy? In which case, whatever mommy says is what he does. And by no means, I'm not saying that we are canvassing for men to be disrespectful of their mothers. No way. No, I'm saying when you are upgrading your relationship from a single man to a married man, you must have those lines that everybody now has to respect. It's part of your job to create those boundaries and defend your turf for everyone to respect. Because if you don't create those boundaries, you are setting up your mother for disrespect, and you are setting up your wife. You are setting up your wife for victimization, because she is going to feel like you gave them the opportunity to do this to me. So so the way the person carries himself before the relationship will tell you how he will carry it afterwards. That's why we are talking about this from both ends, as a single and as a married. Because as a single, when you see the way how does the guy defend you? You know, there was that one that happened. I can't remember. Where I think it was on social media for a while, where the guy brought the lady to the house and she was sitting down. The mother was sweeping. Do you understand? The mother was sweeping, and then it became an issue because the lady was moving leg for the mother to sweep.
To sweep very well.
Do you understand?
Gen Z will teach you.
Do you understand? Or it was the mother to sweep, and there were people on both sides, but a number of people were castigating the girl. But my position was a bit different, because I'm saying you actually did set her up. You set her up to fail, because you don't know her upbringing. She may have been brought up in the West or outside, where I'm in your house, you sweep your house. Rather than our culture where I'm in your house, but if an elder is holding a broom, you are rushing to go and collect it.
Do you even know that the truth is, in some homes, if a girl that has been brought into the home to introduce to potential in-laws, if in certain homes she had rushed to collect the broom, it could be seen as this on an eye service. That's the funny thing. So I agree with you that the guy should have actually ahead of time pre-informed the girl, this is the kind of home I come
and this
from.
is what to do.
These are the things you expect from my mother. In fact, when you have a troublesome mother, you can prepare her, no matter what they throw at you. It's just my mother. It's nothing personal. So I agree with you that he's actually set the lady up for. So I have a question I want to ask. I know I'm married and all, but let's help some other people. What do you do in situation where you're married and in the marriage you get to discover that the libido of, sorry, I'm going back to sex now, it breaks home as well. You get to realize that the libido of your spouse is actually way higher than you can handle, especially in the context of women with extremely high libido and guys that are just average. What do you do? And I'm asking this because there was a case of a girl that believes her definition of real acceptance in sex include, maybe she's been watching all this rubbish and all of that, includes even pouring spit into the mouth. And the guy felt irritated and walked away. And that was actually going to...
That's gross.
If we are going to talk about this, no. KJ in the background is acting like he doesn't understand what I'm saying.
There's only all these guys that are in the background. Don't worry.
So what do you do on a serious note, especially for the guys? I'm speaking... I'm sorry now. I know why I'm saying this, because in most situations, a lady can be done and still allow you to be done. But for the guy, when you don't have the strength, you really don't have the strength. So what do you do, sir?
Oh, thank you. I see the truth about this. The truth about these issues is that everything rises and falls on the bed of communication. You see that communication. You know, when you spoke about it, everything rises and falls on that bed of communication. What are we talking about? Between her libido and my libido for the guy. So her own is very high. My own is not high enough. What are we talking about? The distance from here to here is a gap. This gap is a knowledge gap.
Mm.
How do we close a knowledge gap? We fill it with knowledge. And that's why we have sex therapists for a reason.
Mhm.
Do you understand? We in family life practice, there are many segments. Sex therapy is one of them, where we go to the details. We will go into, because if we begin to give some details on screen now, the next thing maybe they will come and do us X-rated and this. But that you have it for it. Those kind of cases are fantastic cases for sex therapy. You sit down one-on-one, and we are looking at how to bridge this gap. Sometimes the reason why the guy cannot even match the lady may not just be that, oh, I have average and she has high. It may be the reason for my average is because I am stressed out at work. I don't have energy to go the miles, right? She may like 5 rounds. I can only survive 1 because that's the energy that I have. But then if I want to meet her where she is, it means that we must come to a place where I see what is the reason why my energy finishes quickly. What are the things that I can do about it? Because there are specific things you have to do. There's a book that says sex starts in the morning. Do you understand? So these are things that you can do deliberate, intentionally. There are action steps to take. It's not magic. It's not faith. It's action.
Yes.
So for that kind of person, please recommend them. We'll do sex therapy with a professional. I am not a professional in that field, but I have had the training. So if we get those clients, I put them to our partner consultants. They will take you through step by step. That gap will be covered. In fact, sometimes when the guy catches up, they always want to overtake. You understand? So when you reach that place and they want to overtake, it will not be another reason why you have to come and see us, so we can tell you, how to balance, how to be calming down.
Goodness.
But that's really it.
I hope the people that need that actually watch this and
You can
Fantastic.
tell them.
Wow, so it has been a very spicy session today. From the interesting experiences people have shared to the questions that were brought forward, and the answers that have been provided by different people on set today. Thank you very much, KJ. Thanks, Yoma. Thanks, Uche. And thanks to my darling husband. And thanks to the team behind the cameras, the people that just make everything work here. And of course, thanks to you, our wonderful audience. I hope you got something, you got value. You have some questions that have been answered, and now you know what to do about certain things. Remember, you can't just wish it. That people will get it right, that your partner will be able to deal with whatever life throws at you. And you can't risk just going into marriage without checking, without observing, without paying attention to decode what is this person's way of dealing with these pressures when they come. I always want to remind people that yes, the anchor is really important. If not, when the waves come and the storms come, you just be blown away, right? But what's your anchor? If right now you have unhealthy anchors like drugs, alcohol, and stuff like that, you actually need to tactfully and intentionally change that. Change it to healthy options. Changes the things like communicating with both the people you're involved with and with people who can give you help, because sometimes it goes beyond discussing with the person you're going out with or the person you're married to. Sometimes you need to talk to a counselor, you need to talk to a therapist, and so on. Change it to healthy options like listening to music to just ventilate your mind. Good music, because it's not all. Some will just increase the pressure and put crazy ideas in your mind.
And that's why I said, even when we say talk to third parties, we're not saying talk to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because some people mean well, but they can't do well.
Yes, because they don't really know. They don't know.
They don't
know the right answer, and they can just lead you down a path that doesn't make things better. Then finally, remember the person who is most interested in you getting it right in life. the person who created you,
Mm.
right? He's one anchor that will help you through every issue of life. And that help can come in different forms, like sending someone with the right advice, with the right counsel for you, can come with just giving you a time of refreshing peace and so on. There are many ways that God intervenes. Can come in the form of a miracle if you were having a financial difficulty, or an idea that will help you to become a creator of wealth. I mean, there are just so
Sometimes it
many
can even
things.
come in the form of giving you an idea of the right person to talk to.
Yeah. So don't forget God in all that you're going through. Don't forget, He's always there. He said, "Cast your cares and your burdens upon me, because I care for you." That He's there. He's making the call. So don't miss out on the opportunity. And finally, I'd like to remind you, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, you need to
Please
do
subscribe.
so. Remember to like this, because this has been
Please
great.
like.
And share this link to everyone
share.
you know who needs this
To your
link. Just
friends,
share. Even the
share.
ones you think, oh, they don't need it, just share. They
Just
just
share.
might.
Share. Sometimes you see our link and then you say, "Oh, this topic is for single people and I am married." Please just share it.
To the single people in your
Share
life.
to the single people in your life. And singles, share to the married people in your life. Between you, your friend, your neighbor, and their neighbor's neighbor, somebody will need it so that we can get to the permanent side. See, guys, this thing is a lot of value. And they don't used to charge. They have not started charging for sharing. So just share now. What's your share this show?
Yeah.
Share. Every time you see it, share. This episode, share. The next episode, share. In fact, you people in the production room, you can cut this part and just be share. Let them just be sharing. Share the program. Let us get to the permanent side.
Great.
Thank
And
you.
Queen Debbie says, spicy indeed. And she says, great show today. That's a perfect way to wrap this up. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
And like we
you.
always say, remember,
Common sense is not so common.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you got great value today. Our goal is to bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your life and relationships. Please do not forget to subscribe, share, and like.